Gary Parrish. Welcome back to the CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting dodo birds and leaky black. Matt Norlander is here with me. If you're watching on YouTube, you know what to do to the like button. Shouts to Brandon Davies. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the CBS Sports College Basketball YouTube channel, please also do that while you're here. Let's get into it. Today we are continuing our Summer Shootaround series with the second of 3 auction episodes. All proceeds from the auctions going to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, located about 5 minutes away here in downtown Memphis. Jeremy Williams was the winning bidder this time. Appreciate him coming through for the children at St. Jude. And the team Jeremy wants us to discuss is the Virginia Cavaliers, led by first-year coach Ryan Odom. Before we look ahead, let's do a quick recap. Virginia last season went 15-17 under interim coach Ron Sanchez after Tony Bennett, of course, retired in October. 15-17 overall, 8-12 in the ACC. Needless to say, the Cavaliers did not make the NCAA tournament. They subsequently hired Ryan Odom from VCU. From that team, everybody's gone, basically. Elijah Gertrude, only scholarship player who stuck around, and he didn't even play last season. As you likely know, Ryan Odom, he got into the transfer portal, added enough pieces to get the Cavaliers up to number 35 at Bart Torvik's preseason ranking. So I'm going to get Norlander's thoughts on that next. But first, let's get a word from our partners.
Only CBS Sports can bring you big time during the heart of Saturday afternoons. It's big time.
It's big time. It's big time. It's big time.
On CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
All right, Norlander, Virginia is a top 35 team in the country in year one under Ryan Odom. Do you love it? Or do you loathe it?
I don't loathe it. I think I like it plenty. I think by the time I get to ranking these teams, which we're getting closer and closer,
by
the time you're listening to it, September is here, folks. September is here. College basketball's preseason official practices will start here before you know it, and then we're into October. We're really ramping up, and that's when I'll do my top 101 teams heading into the season. I'm looking over the roster, GP. I'm pretty sure I'll have Virginia somewhere in that top 35. I like it. This is the first high major team we're talking about on the shoot-around series that isn't in GP's top 25 and 1. Part of that is he's hated Odom for years. We're going to get to that before the end of the show. But I do like Virginia overall. I like what Odom's been able to do here. Also want to give a shout out, by the way, there was another Virginia bidder named Sandy. And so Sandy and Jeremy were kind of going back and forth against each other in the bidding process. And then these two gentlemen didn't know each other. And then at some point they started messaging each other in their bids saying, hey, if one of us wins, can we split the bid? And then they agreed to it. And then I think Jeremy just said, whatever, I'll just pay the whole freight. So I want to give a shout to Sandy regardless. He did reach out as well. UVA fans, you had a couple of backers here that we're going to make sure your Wahoo's got talked about in year one under Ryan Odom. Before we get into the team, just a general curiosity. You ever been to Charlottesville? I've been there obviously a number of times, but I wonder if you've actually stepped foot inside the town, the city that birthed the great Dave Matthews Band.
I don't think I have. I think I might have flown. Well, okay. So I think I flew to Charlottesville to then drive to somewhere else. Would that make sense?
It wouldn't, although Charlottesville does have, even among small airports, Charlottesville is the best airport I've ever flown through. It is tremendous. But you wouldn't really, you would go to Charlottesville maybe to go to Richmond. Like Odom, he makes the move from VCU to UVA, and it's an hour's drive. Like it's not that big. That's really the only reason why you would have probably done, unless you went to. Did
I go to James? Is it possible that I drove to James Madison from Charlottesville?
I guess it's possible. I don't know why you would. Why do you think you would have gone to James Madison?
I don't know. I don't. Oh, I was at James. I did a game. I did a Virginia James Madison game. I was on the sideline for it. I've been to James Madison. Okay. I know I've been in the state of Virginia. I think I've been to Charlottesville, but I can say definitively I've never been to a basketball game in Charlottesville.
Well, nevertheless, shout out to Bodo's Bagels, Miller's, obviously right there on the downtown mall, the Pink Warehouse, the Dairy Market, great spot there in Seville. And that's an elite airport there. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously representing the Matthews Band plenty. Got the shirt on, got an album behind me. Big time stuff there. Happy to talk about Ryan Odom and his team. Let's get to Odom. Career record, 222 and 127. He's won 63.6% of his games. That includes when he was an interim for a little more than half a season with Charlotte, well over a decade ago. He coached a year in D2 at Lenoir-Rhyne, 5 years at UMBC, 2 at Utah State, and the past 2 at VCU. We talked about Odom plenty on our April coaching carousel recap episode, and we thought coming out of that episode, we thought he was just one of the 3 best fits overall among the entire carousel. And that's reflected as you watch and listen to this. GP and I have just about wrapped up our Candid Coaches surveying. That series will publish in September. And as we ask every year to a litany of coaches, who was the best coaching hire, high major coaching hire this cycle? I'm not going to spoil any of the returns we've gotten so far, but I will say Odom's gotten a few votes on my end, and pretty much everyone that has voted for Odom has done so not just because he's a really good coach, but they think it is an amazing fit and the kind of place where if he hits, he could be there as long as Tony Bennett was there. If he hits, we'll see if he can hit. Before I toss it back to you, I just want to put a little bit in perspective here on what Odom is inheriting. The last season, I'm guessing you looked this up, but it surprised me, GP. Last season, Virginia was 106 at KenPom. Did you know that's the lowest the team has ever finished in the history of that metric? The lowest. They had a few years where they were like right around 100, 103, 104, but they never finished as low as 106 in the one and done Ron Sanchez era, if you will. They're trying to recover from, losing Tony Bennett, who retired, relatively abruptly last October. But even before that, Bennett had a team that barely made the tournament. They got trounced in Dayton. That team was 23-11. It's coming off of as rough of a 2-year stretch overall as the program has seen in more than 15, maybe 20 years. And Odom arrives with a lot of optimism in spite of that. He was the presumptive candidate to get this job for weeks before he actually got it. And it makes a lot of sense why he's here. His father, Dave, coached there. I was an assistant in Charlottesville in the 80s. He was, again, he coached at VCU. It was practically right down the road, but there is an immediate bump expected in year one. And I find the situation in Seville very interesting. Odom and his program got well more than north of 10 million in NIL resources and funds for this upcoming cycle. There is an expectation in Charlottesville in year one. This will be a top 3rd team in the ACC. So 18 teams, a top 6 team in the league. I'd agree with that. I think that expectation is fair, Parrish. And then I think the ultimate goal for Odom is beyond that. It's to, in a broad, big picture sense, over the next 5 years, half decade or whatever, it's to get Virginia into that spot where it is no doubt about it, this is one of the 4 best operating programs in the ACC. Obviously, you want to be number 1 or number 2, but just, as a floor, when you talk about the best programs in the ACC, we're going to be in that top 3, top 4. That's why he's hired. That's why there's a lot of optimism there. Before we get into the roster rundown, and Jeremy sent in a question I want to get to as well, just quick synopsis recap from you, maybe an extenuation on that conversation we had on Odom from back in April. I know you like the fit a lot here, but he's got an unusual position. He's taking over at a spot that had not been good the past 2 years, but has been given a ton to work with immediately. And so with that doesn't come low expectations. That it is step in and we want immediate results and into the tournament without any shadow of a doubt in year one.
None of these things are guaranteed to work, but often there is an obvious thing you should do when you have a vacancy. And I think that was true at Virginia. This was the hire. I'm not saying it would have been crazy to look anywhere else. I'm just saying this made sense. Should say, just I imagine we got some Virginia listeners and watchers who maybe aren't normal consumers of the Eye on College Basketball podcast. If so, welcome in.
Come on.
I don't actually hate Ryan Odom. That's just a joke type thing that we do. The backstory is Norlander hates Nico Medved.
And actually the backstory behind that is that GP hates Shaka Smart. Continue.
And so he tries to make Ryan Odom out to be my personal Nico Medved.
Let's just keep it moving. But yes, there will be, if you had not said that, hell, it doesn't even matter that you said it. There will be people that parachute into this episode that'll just believe it regardless. And I've affected those people forever, and they're going to always think that you hate Ryan Odom, which is
you
fine.
Want Ryan Odom to be my own personal Nico Medved, and he's not going to be. Sometimes on Twitter, I'll just like wake up, look at my phone, and it'll be like, well, Parrish has always hated, Fran McCaffrey. And it's like, what? I don't even think about him that much. I don't even know why. Where do you guys come up with this stuff? Ryan Odom has a special place in my heart. He's done special things throughout his college career. Is the architect of the first big 1 versus 16 upset in college basketball history. I think obviously he had incredible resources to build this roster, but I think he did a nice job with it just to get him back into a roster conversation with the top of the ACC. If you look at Torvik's rankings right now, it's got the top 4 in the ACC projected to go Duke, Louisville, North Carolina, Virginia. Man, that's what ACC basketball should look like. With apologies to, the NC States and everybody else. But as the AC has been down in recent years, you get into these conversations about what does the ACC need to do to get back? You need your awesome programs to be awesome. And we had reached a point where Louisville had gotten to a place unimaginable. North Carolina's been a little bit of this. And Virginia, obviously Tony did incredible things there, but it had slipped recently and then bottomed out last year. So it was important for Virginia to get this right, as always we'll see. But I do think they hired the right guy. They did the right thing. Ryan, of course, has been at the NCAA tournament at UMBC, Utah State, VCU. He's accomplished things at at least three different places. And barring a surprise, just based on these numbers I'm giving you, he should this season take a 4th different school to the NCAA tournament, at which point he would become the what number coach to do it in Division I men's basketball.
Is it trivia time?
Oh, it's a trivia time.
It's trivia time. How
it's
about
a trivia
that?
time.
How many coaches have taken 4?
At least 4.
Schools? Man, well, Pitino just became the first to take 6.
That's right. He tops the list.
This is going to be just a complete dart throw in the dark. I'll say there have been 9 coaches to take 4 schools to the NCAA tournament.
The answer is 12. See how many you can name.
Oh gosh, we got to do this.
Yeah, we got to do this.
Okay, Lefty Drizel.
Good one.
Yeah.
Pitino and Drizel. You got 2.
Yeah, Pitino, Drizel. How about a quick hint? How many are active?
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Well, also I know Kruger's on the list. He's not active. 3 are active. Rick Barnes.
Rick Barnes is not on the list.
Okay. Take 4 schools. 1, 2. No, I'll try and move fast here. 1, 2, 3.
You got Pitino, Kruger, and Drizel.
Did Self do it? Did he take Oral Roberts there?
Bill Self is not on this list.
Okay. Active 4 schools.
Active basically every time somebody says Rick Pitino, they mention this other coach because he has a similar last name.
Has a similar
vowel. They used to coach at rival schools. They're not
Calipari, get it together, Norlander.
John Calipari has done it.
Get it together. Okay, Calipari. There's 2 more active ones.
2 more active, I believe. Yes.
Oh man, this is a great trivia time.
One of the actives just changed jobs this season.
Get out of here! Really?
Got pushed out of his power conference job, and he's now in the Ivy League.
Oh, Fran McCaffrey.
Yeah, Fran McCaffrey.
What's the 4th?
So Fran McCaffrey's going to have a shot to become
5.
To become a coach to take 5. Yeah.
As you say, that Tubby Smith is on this list.
Tubby Smith is on the list.
Who's the 4th school for Fran?
Got it somewhere.
You don't. Well, I don't know who. I'm missing on who the 4th school would be. Who else?
Fran McCaffrey has taken Lehigh, UNC Greensboro, Siena, and Iowa.
Lehigh. That's what I couldn't remember.
You always forget about Lehigh.
I keep running into I'm thinking Anthony Grant. He's done 3. Oh man.
Let me just give them to you.
Give them to me. Yep. We got to keep the show moving along.
Eddie Sutton.
Sutton, yes.
Tom Penders. Jim Herrick. John Beilein.
Yeah, Beilein. I should have gotten that one.
Larry Eustace.
Ooh, that's a sneaky one.
And Steve Alford.
Alford active.
Yes.
I got to be better. That's a good.
You got to do better.
That's
but
a good.
It's the off season.
Yeah,
it's the off season.
That's a good note and nugget. I
can't expect you to be sharp sharp as a tack in the offseason.
I know you can and should, and I should hold myself to that standard. I'm looking up something real quick though as you say this. So if Odom does it in year one, that means he'll have taken 4 programs to the tournament
since 2018.
Yeah, see, that's the question, and
has anybody ever taken 4 different schools to the NCAA tournament in such a short amount of time? I bet that's no.
That's the question. You got to cross-reference with the list we have. I'm inclined to say no, but that will have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 schools in 9 seasons is if he does it in year one.
I bet that's never been done.
First. And you know what? I think he's going to do it. Before we get into the roster, Jeremy mailed in a question. He said, I'd like your thoughts about how it is almost impossible to build a team anymore like Tony Bennett did it and what it does to college sports, more so in the future than specifically right now. Seeing Tony build teams of older guys who are willing to wait it out from freshmen to juniors and seniors was one of the best things about that era and college basketball in general, but that's obviously gone now, save for an outlier like Purdue. Do you think that eventually it harms college hoops beyond the Dukes and Kentuckys of the world when someone like Tony Bennett can't take a program from the ashes unless that team program has significant resources, parentheses, and now willingness to cheat to bring in and then retain players? Will eventually fans of mid-tier schools that either don't have resources or don't cheat eventually just tune out? I'd like some quick thoughts on this. You take it away. You take it away first. We get some version of this question probably every time we ask for a mailbag. But he won the auction, and we haven't talked about it in a few months here. You're up first. You answer it.
The landscape of college athletics has changed dramatically very quickly. There have been some unintended consequences in the spirit of trying to get things right and do things in a more fair way. There have been some downsides to it. Undeniably. Even as somebody who argues in favor of this stuff, I can tell you I also recognize the downside. And one downside, if we're putting a list together, is it has cost us Hall of Fame caliber coaches. Mm-hmm. I don't believe without all the change and, for lack of a better word, chaos in college athletics, that Tony Bennett would have retired when he retired. So it removed one of the quote unquote good guys from the sport. That's not good. One of the best teachers. We have a candid coaches question coming up about, hey, if you were the father of a prospect and you were going to send your son to play for somebody for 4 years, who would you like to send your son to? And I bet you if we'd asked that question 2 years ago, we would have got a lot of Tony Bennett answers.
I have 2 coaches this year who said if Tony Bennett was still coaching, he would have been my answer. But since he's not, this guy's my answer. So I had 2 coaches.
All right. So he's immensely respected. Yep. We lost him because of this, or at least in part because of this. There's one negative. There's not a single dude who played for Virginia last season who's going to play for Virginia next season. Like, that's not good. Like, we can all agree that that's not good.
Yeah,
I don't think it will forever be this way. I'm fine with it being this way if it goes hand in hand with players being compensated in a way that they should be. I do think there's some fixes that could come into play, multi-year contracts, that type of stuff that will tamp down the constant player movement. But there are some negatives that have come with the changing landscape of college basketball. Losing a coach like Tony Bennett is one of them, making it more difficult than ever to build a program the way Tony Bennett built a national championship program. That's more difficult than ever. And I think I remember Tony talking about this at some point. Like, he said, whether it was at the retirement press conference or before that or after that, at some point I remember him saying something along these lines. He was like in a group text with his national championship team. And he was asking those guys, like, not all of you won a title here. It all worked out beautifully, but not all of you had prominent roles from the beginning. Not all of you were starters the second you came on campus. How many of you would have left me if you could have without penalty? And he was like, Coach, he said he got answers like this. Looking back on it, I realized it would have been a mistake to leave if I wasn't happy with playing time or my role as a freshman. I know it would have been a mistake to leave, but if I'm being honest, if I could have, without penalty, I probably would have, or I would have at least considered it. And he sort of acknowledged that was eye-opening to him, because that is going to be his world going forward. The whole loyalty thing, and we're stuck together and we're going to work through this, it's not really a thing anymore. It can be certain places, but it's not common. And I I don't think that's good. And it clearly makes it more difficult to have any sort of continuity one year to the next.
Yeah, my way I'd answer the question here is that I don't think it will cause fans that actually care about their teams to tune out. I think it has residual effects on general interest and enthusiasm in college basketball. In some ways, we see some of that. In other ways, we see engagement from college basketball fans on this very show at cbssports.com and television ratings that are still very healthy. But it's undeniable that the heart of this question is something that permeates throughout college sports. It affects college football. I might have mentioned this on the show earlier this summer, but I went to a birthday party for one of my son's friends, and I get to talking to one of the parents there, and then they even get to like talking about this very thing. So it is something that is consistently on the minds of a lot of college sports fans, and it's not most college sports fans don't object to players making money or anything like that. They just want some sense of stability and continuity year over year, so that you're not having to relearn 8, 9, 10 players on an annual basis, because that can, you'd like to have some familiarity with your program aside from who the head coach is. So I get it. I think there are some negative effects. Are the negative effects worth trading off to how it used to be? I would say no, because the players do deserve to have certain, very big opportunities that were wrongly withheld from them for decades. But we're all hopeful that we're on the road to getting to ourselves to a place where we have a bit more continuity year over year over year. Let's keep it moving. Let's talk about the roster here. Gone Isaac McNeely, Elijah Saunders, Andrew Rode, Day-Day Ames, Jacob Kofi, Blake Buchanan, along with like 5 others. So they're all gone. GP ran that down. You're looking at, from a roster standpoint, this is my projection. I think you'll have Dallin Hall, transferred from BYU, 6'4" shooting guard, who was a glue guy there, averaged like 7 a game. I think he'll start at the 1. I think you'll have San Francisco transfer Malik Thomas, 6'5" senior, averaged 20 points last season, 39% from 3. I think he's your starter at the 2. Sam Lewis, I think probably starts at the 3. He's a 6'6" wing, shot 44.4% from 3, along with nearly 5 rebounds at Toledo a year ago. At the 4 is a guy who probably had top 10 buzz among all new players on rosters this offseason, Tess de Ridder. He is 6'8", 231 pounds. He's from Belgium. He played in Liga ACB the past couple of years, played for Bilbao Basket, and averaged 9.3 points, 4.8 boards, shot 50% from the field, 39% as like a big forward from 3. He is a lock to start at the 4. And then they've got another international transfer, Johann Grunlow. He's German. I think he'll probably start at the 5. You also have in the mix to start, or at least fight for it, Devin Tillis, 6'6" forward. Hit 39% of his 123 three-point attempts last season at UC Irvine, a really good UC Irvine team. Again, another really good three-point shooter that Odom and the staff brought in. Chance Mallory's a freshman, 5'9" point guard, 55th in the class. I don't think he starts at the start of the season. If you told me he got some starts, I'd believe you. And then you have more. Ugonna Onyenso, who comes from Kansas State, was a non-factor there last season. Can he, one more chance to have a good year? I don't think he'll start, but he'll obviously get some burn. Jakari White's another name to know, North Dakota State, another 40% plus three-point shooter, averaged 17 a game. He's a 6'3" 2 guard. He'll be in the mix there. That's most of the names I think you need to know. There was a red shirt that came over via VCU as well, but that's the majority of it. It is a roster that is just seeping with potential. There's no doubt. This could be a team, Parrish, that I think has as much three-point reliability as any team we've seen at Virginia, maybe ever. And there have been some good ones. Like the title-winning team was obviously a very good three-point shooting team. But I would say this will probably have a better combination of being a really good three-point shooting team, and its three-point attempt rate will be even better than any team that Tony had. That, frankly, probably any team Ryan's had as a head coach there. And I don't think that perimeter-oriented offense is going to be at the sacrifice of some real grunt work in the paint. It's why you're getting a lot of, in the ACC, I gathered this from talking to some assistants and head coaches on the road back in July. A lot of intrigue and a lot of Virginia's going to be good, man, because the roster, they say, this is what can happen when, 1, you know what you're doing, and 2, you are afforded a really, really nice budget immediately stepping into a power conference gig there. I do like the pieces. I think you having them outside the top 25. I think that's fair, because you also got to see if everything's going to gel. Let's see how it all works. But While a lot of the names I just listed off, your casual college basketball fan might not be overly familiar with a lot of them. Man, Odom went out and was able to pluck off a ton of good size, proven scoring, reliable three-point shooting, and comboing that with a couple of international players that seem to be legit players with potential pro futures on these shores here in the United States of America. What are your thoughts on the roster?
Well, just from the transfer portal, they go Dallin Hall, Jakari White, Malik Thomas, and Hall shot 35.3% from three last season. So respectable, not great, but the other two, White and Thomas, were both above 39% from three. So you've got, just like you said, real established shooters in your backcourt, whether they play together, one of them comes off the bench, however that works, you've got shooting. DeRidder is the, I think, centerpiece of all of this. The pronunciation I saw was Tice DeRidder.
When I talked with Odom, he said Tess. So it might be Tice, but and again, if it is Tice and Odom was just talking to me and he accidentally mispronounced it, whatever. So we'll go. We did this happened last year with another player. I can't remember who it was, but I was like, when I talked to this coach, this is how they said the name, and then that pronunciation wound up being incorrect. So we'll go with,
no, coaches do this sometimes. Like I think I remember like Rick Pitino never getting Gorgie Jean's name correct or something like that. So we'll figure it all out before the season. But what I saw was Tice DeRidder and Johan Grunlo. Those are the international prospects. DeRidder was he's gone through NBA draft processes and was a projected second round pick. He is technically going to be a freshman, I believe, with 2 years of eligibility. But I don't want to say most people, because I don't know if it's most people, but there are some people who believe he is going to be a one and done college basketball player. He's already 22 years old, averaged 9.3 points, 4.8 rebounds this past season playing in Spain. He seems to be the real deal, and somebody he'll be among the latest European players to come to America and make an impact at the power conference level.
Just got a text from Odom. It's Tess. I just asked him.
Okay.
So, yeah, Tess DeRidder. He's going. Yeah, there's a lot of optimism. He's at the center of it, and yeah, he could, if it goes the way they hope it goes, he could be a guy that steps in and might just look different from a lot of other players in terms of his size, shooting ability, stepping out, and being really versatile. And he played in a real legit league overseas. And so the idea is that he's going to be able to transition with minimal hiccups and be an impactful player right away, potentially the team's best player. And so in doing so, if Virginia's going to be what we think it can be, maybe an all ACC level guy, like one of the 5 to 7 best players in the country. There's a lot to be excited about here from a roster standpoint. I know Virginia fans, and I take this having talked to a few of them, you get a new coach, Tony leaving was a very, very, very hard thing, obviously, for that fan base, that campus, that community, because of how well regarded he is. And for the most part, while he had his own style of play, for the most part, the majority of his career, just Virginia was a reliability. Sometimes they'd win games ugly. And I don't know if it was my friend Caroline Darney who came up with this, but calling it was I think it was called a Tony. If you held a team under 20 and a half, and you win a game 52-41 and you're more than okay with it. Like, we're getting the dubs. We don't care. To go from all of that to losing him to retirement 3, 5, 7 years before you thought that would happen. Sanchez stuff just doesn't work, unfortunately. 1 year can't happen. And okay, so who's going to be the guy? And while he has not coached a game yet, I know that the roster that has been assembled here is bringing about a lot of optimism, and I, for the most part, I do agree with that. There's even one more player I might not have mentioned, Silas Barksdale. He's a 4-star, ranked 91 and 247, who should also make an impact as well. So there's a lot of good stuff there. You want to get to the schedule?
Well, just to touch on the other international prospect, because he's interesting as well. Grunlo, he was named the U22 Player of the Year in Germany's first division 2 years ago. So these are international prospects that we're obviously less familiar with than we would be if they were 5-star freshmen coming from IMG Academy or Montverde or whatever. But it won't take it won't take college basketball fans, ACC fans long to recognize that those two guys should be instant impact. I would think day one starters and the type of players that at least theoretically are going to be able to get Virginia back to, inside the top 100 at KenPom, which is where Virginia's obviously supposed to be.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's get to the schedule here. Little regular season win total. And then we got a few other things before we get out of here as well. I've acquired Ryan Odom's top 10 DMB songs, and of course, I'm going to be getting to that before we get out of the show. Schedule-wise, here's what we got year one for the Wahoos under Odom. November 21, these are the high major games of note. Northwestern in the Greenbrier tip-off in West Virginia. Apparently, that's a beautiful area, and that's a good.
I remember that tournament last year, and I was looking at the commercials, and I was like, well, should I be taking my family to vacation in West Virginia? It never occurred to me, but it looked amazing.
Country roads, take me home. There we go. They got
going on vacation in West Virginia one year. We're done with this other stuff. We're going to West Virginia.
You're never going to do that. All right. November 23rd, they get Butler, who I also think will be legitimately improved from a season ago. So that's, while Northwestern and Butler aren't going to occupy spots in the preseason AP Top 25, they're good targets for your first time major games because you'll get a sense of where you're at. And I don't think Virginia fans should think it's an automatic that they will go 2-0. They can, but don't think it's an automatic. Chris Collins is a really good coach, and Thad Matta, he's won some games in his day. The next game of note on the high major non-con slate is at Texas. Another coach in a year one spot, Sean Miller. That's December 3rd. December 6th, this is not high major, but it's obviously notable. It's Dayton. That's in Charlotte. So Anthony Grant and Ryan Odom, they know each other well. They've got a game on the slate. So two notable games away from home for UVA in the first week of December. Then December 20th, love to see this, home against Maryland. There's still a wiring in my brain that makes me think that's an ACC game. It's of course not. So home versus the Terps in a home-and-home series there. And then on Valentine's Day, yes, we have a non-conference matchup. This is getting more popular. We'd love to see it. Ohio State in Nashville will be for UVA versus OSU on Valentine's Day. So that's good stuff. So those are the 6 notable non-con games, GP. 18 games schedule in the ACC. The only team they don't play, it's actually a good team. I'd like to see it, but they don't play Clemson, so they get spared Brad Brownell. The 2 plays, NC State home and home. Like to see that. And then, of course, Virginia Tech being right there with Virginia as the rival. Home games in the ACC. They don't have to go out west. It's Cal, Miami, UNC, Pitt, Stanford, Syracuse, and Wake Forest. Those are the home games at JPJ Arena. And then road at BC, at Duke, at FSU, at Georgia Tech, at Louisville, at Notre Dame, at SMU. So if you think Duke, UNC, Louisville will be the 3 best teams heading into the season, 2 of those 3 are away games for Virginia. What are the Wahoos going to be in year one heading into the ACC tournament, GP?
We're going to go 3 non-league losses. We're going to go 13-7 in the ACC. We're going to have 10 losses.
There's 18 games in the ACC, not 20.
They played 20 last year, 18 this year. Got it.
Correct.
Okay, let's make that then instead of 13-7, let's make it
12-6.
Accept 12-6.
It's your projection.
I'm going to ask you to accept 12-6.
Yep.
So I'm going to have 9 losses heading into the ACC tournament. What does that put me at?
Puts you at 22 wins, 22-9.
22-9, and not on the bubble, safely in the NCAA tournament.
Let's for fun. Let's do a little bonus. Give me a what is a 20? We don't know what they'll do in the ACC tournament. Give me a seed for the Virginia Cavaliers. What's your guess?
9 seed.
Okay, 9 seed. I will say. What's interesting is I'm gonna say 1 fewer win in the regular season. It's 21-10, and I still think but I'm going to say a 7 seed. So I'll say they get stuff done in the ACC tournament. They get enough quality wins. The ACC is better than last season. How can it not be? And that gets them to the 7 line, home whites in the first round overall. It's a quality first crack at a schedule. That's for sure. I like what Odom has assembled here, having no pieces returning, first year on the job. He didn't run from it. It's not the toughest. It's certainly far from the weakest there. So we're near the same. But yeah, you've got him with a little bit better of a regular season. I've got him with a little bit better of a seed when we get to Selection Sunday. Before we get out of here, got two things on the old menu. One, it's Odom's a genuine Dave Matthews Band fan. He attended Hampton Sydney back in the 90s. He saw them like in frat houses where he went to college in like 1992. So he is an OG. For the Virginia fans listening, obviously many of you like me are massive DMB fans. When you're watching this, they just wrapped up their final shows of 2025. They just played their annual Gorge 3-night stand out there in George, Washington. Would love to get out there one day. Still have not yet been to the Gorge. It's on my plans maybe for 2026. I'm going to give you Ryan Odom's top 10 Dave Matthews Band songs in order. But before I do, Parrish is not a DMB fan. He hates Dave Matthews maybe more than he hates Ryan Odom, actually.
Here's the truth. I am of the age where I should be a Dave Matthews fan. Like I was growing up, that band was huge. It was unavoidable. Like those, all the songs. It was unavoidable. It just was never for me. Like I just never. And it's not like I have friends who have been around Dave Matthews and worked around Dave Matthews and been in his circle, and they all say he's the best. Like he's the greatest guy. Like so it's like nothing other than it's just not for me. I've just never really. I know the songs. I've seen him live. I've seen the band live multiple times in festival settings and stuff. It's just not for I just would never be driving around and listening to Dave Matthews. I
more than make up for on this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay? I more than make up for it. That being said, is there a single song that you like? Single one. If you don't, that's okay. But I mean,
there's nothing where I would be like, man, I don't really dig Dave Matthews Band, but I love that song. Okay. That doesn't really exist.
All right.
That exists for me. That's you're thinking of Silverchair.
Silverchair. Ooh.
They got that one song, right?
No, Silverchair's got a really good album. I'm blanking on it right now. I'll tell you right now. It's they got a great song called they've had some. I'm not talking about like their stuff that went big early. I like I haven't listened to this album in a long time though. It's good. Silverchair. Check out Diorama, or maybe Diorama. Maybe that's how you.
What's the real famous Silverchair song?
The most well-known Silverchair
Tomorrow. That one.
You tell me.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. That's Silverchair. That's my impression of Silverchair.
Tomorrow.
Every once in a while in the car.
Tomorrow is what you're talking about. That's from Frog Stomp.
What's it called?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, Tomorrow.
Yeah, Tomorrow. But
every once in a while in the car, when I feel like the words are getting a little too rough on Hip Hop Nation for the boys in the back seat, we'll switch over to Lithium, and then every once in a while you'll stumble into Silverchair on the Lithium channel.
Diorama, Across the Night, very Baroque sounding song. Good stuff there. All right, you hijacked the DMB segment with Silverchair. Let's keep it going. Ryan Odom's top 10 DMB songs. I asked for them in order. Here's the order he sent them. Number 41, which is
41.
Yeah, what? What?
We're doing 41?
No, number 41 is his favorite song.
Oh, that's a song.
Yes, it's the 41st song that he wrote.
I thought you were starting with it. And at number 41, I was like, Jesus Lord, I got things to do.
Not doing a countdown. Although I have literally ranked every DMB song. I got
all right. And now Norlander is going to rank 41 Dave Matthews Band songs. I'll see you guys later. Till next time.
Correct. No, 41 is his favorite, which is considered among his very best songs. Their very best songs. Dancing Nancy's number 2.
Sure.
Seek Up number 3. Objectively a top 10 DMB song. Two Step number 4, also considered as a top 10 song. Gray Street number 5. Bartender number 6. Warehouse number 7. Typical Situation is his number 8. That is my favorite DMB song. Typical Situation. Crush number 9. And then probably their best studio cut of the past 10 years. Virginia in the Rain is number 10 for Ryan Odom. He also loves Watchtower Live, but that's not a DMB original. That is a Bob Dylan song that DMB,
Jimi Hendrix made famous.
And yes, and then many people have covered it, but DMB has covered it since basically they formed as a band there. So that's his top 10.
I don't know how comfortable I am with the Satellite disrespect.
You know what? Satellite not being in the top 10 is more than okay. It's more than okay. A lot of people like it. Satellite's great. It's a funky little guitar riff. It's fun to play, but I wouldn't have Satellite even in my top 40 DMB songs. So But hey, you knew one. I like to hear that.
Is that the biggest? Is that the most famous?
No. Crash Into Me is the biggest.
Yeah, of course, right.
Yeah, Satellite wouldn't even be. It'd be like 7 or 8 or 9 overall. But like he mentioned number 41. I could bring it. I'm not going to bring it up. I bet you number 41 has more streams on Spotify than Satellite. That kind of stuff. So, all right. Last one is a question from our auction winner, Jeremy. It's not Virginia related. He wanted something big picture. He said, have you and Gary talked about how you'd like to do this, or quote, what's next in your careers? Does it ever get stale for you, or is everything just as fresh as it was when it started so long ago? It seems still just as fresh for your listeners, I think, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the state of Ion College basketball in your future from a former sports reporter long ago. Take it away, Parrish. Am I stale? Is this stale? Are you done? Is this like the last Ion College basketball? Are we over?
I'm not bored with you at all. I'm having a good time with you. I like you. I don't want to speak for you. It would be like the first time you ever go to a Final Four. There's a certain like wow to it. And the first time you're ever at Cameron Indoor, there's a certain like, my God, I can't believe I'm here. And Allen Fieldhouse and all of those things, right? And after a while, you've done them all so often that at least I would be lying if I told you I still get the same feeling every time. It can start to feel like the Final Four is like, we're here to work, let's do our jobs.
It feels awesome to me every time. Not that it doesn't feel awesome for you, but I know what you're saying. But like every year, like going to the Final Fours.
No, it's awesome. I'm just saying, like I don't look around as much as I used to.
You don't have a sense of awe and wonder. I understand.
Yeah, that diminishes a little bit, which is kind of sad. I do have these moments sometimes where I try to remind myself, like, man, when you were a kid, you would have killed to do this thing. Like, get a little more excited. Like, you're here. This is fun. But I don't have to remind myself often. I try to hold on to that perspective. Like, this was a dream once upon a time. Don't take it for granted now. That kind of thing. But in terms of like working like this, I enjoy this still just as much as I've ever enjoyed it. I like prepping for this. I like prepping for a podcast just as much as I like doing the podcast. I like getting in and doing the work. And there are times during the season where I get completely overwhelmed and I lose my voice and I can't breathe well and I need to go to the doctor. And
I just our best shows.
I get physically overwhelmed and mentally overwhelmed. And there are days where I wake up and I go, man, I don't know how I'm going to get through this day. And then I just get through it.
Yeah.
But broadly speaking, I don't think about what's next. I think about trying to hold on to what I got. Like, I like what I have. I like my place in this world. I like what I'm allowed to do. I like the people I work for. I enjoy the people I work with. I don't have any complaints. Like, there are people all over our profession who are disgruntled, resentful, frustrated, always wanting the next thing, can't wait to get out and go do. That's not me. I am happy where I'm at. I am appreciative of what I have. And if it never got better than where it's been more amazing than most people's careers get to, it's been more amazing than most people get to enjoy, and better than my wildest expectations when I was, jumping off onto this path. And I will forever consider myself fortunate. I look up sometimes and don't really understand exactly how I got to where I'm at.
How you got to where you know how that. Yeah,
but I've been I'm a public, like, not to get all whatever, but like, I'm a public school kid from Mississippi who flies to New York and talks on national television. This is not supposed to be my life, and it is, and I do not take it for granted. I'm very appreciative. I still enjoy what I'm doing and hope to keep doing it for as long as I can.
Sounds like GP is asking, could I have been anyone other than me? If that notion intrigues you, GP, then you should pull up Dancing Nancy's by DMB, because it's a very introspective kind of song. I think you might enjoy it. A parking lot attendant. I appreciate this kind of question. I echo a lot of what Parrish just said there. No, Parrish and I have not hopped on the phone and hashed out a game plan for the next 6 months or 2 years of the pod. We talk about how we can tweak things and keep a certain element of this podcast that is reliable for our listeners. It's also not lost on me that I know, just specifically in the podcast space, and not even the college basketball podcast space, but the podcast space in general, is one that can be volatile. And for anyone that opts into listening for more than 40 minutes at the start of September on a college basketball podcast, you're our people. And no doubt there have been other shows in other genres, other sports that you might have enjoyed for a number of years. And the people that were on those shows, or those shows that once existed no longer, there's been a lot of splintering of that. Nothing's given, nothing's forever, and nothing's guaranteed. But I do want our listeners and viewers to know that having us, be available to you and having some sort of consistency is not lost on me. And I very, very much appreciate it. I wouldn't want to do the podcast with anyone else. GP and I have been doing this together on this show in some capacity since the very start, when it was once the College Hoops Journal podcast and then became Eye on College Basketball. That's, going on almost 15 years ago, but really the show as it's been like this is for a better part of a decade there. So love the job, love doing the pod. It's a ton of fun. I love that we get a little more time to breathe in the off season. I've been invigorated that Parrish and I, we brought in the guests for a lot of the shoot around episodes, and then, I hadn't talked to my friend for more than 2.5 weeks. Then it's good to have those little breaks so that when we come back and do the show, we remember our rhythms, how we can bounce stuff off each other, how many coaches Parrish hates. And it's good to just take quick little breaks. So then, once we get into the season, we know how that can go. So Jeremy, I appreciate the question. And we get the opportunity to do a lot of cool stuff with CBS, and hopefully those opportunities only continue to grow. But we know for the majority of people that intake our work, you can watch us on HQ and CBS Sports Network, and obviously the written component, which is major. We know that the overwhelming majority of people that know who we are do so via this podcast. We don't take that lightly. We don't take it for granted. We love doing the show, and we're gonna keep on keeping on, and hopefully some big fun new elements to the podcast coming, before too long. And I appreciate the question.
Yeah, I was not a proponent of mixing up the summer shoot around and bringing in all these other people. I was like, it's our podcast, we'll do it type of, that's sort of just where my mindset is which is probably how I end up getting overwhelmed, because I'm always like, I'll do it. But I'm glad we did. I think it's added to it. It's cool for me to talk to Matt Painter, and for you to talk to Mark Pope, and to bring, Rob Doster on and John Fanta on, and so on and so forth. So it's been good. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad you guys thought of it and brought it to me. And when I expressed hesitation, held my hand and pulled me over the line.
Hold on, I got a button for that. Hold on. Where is it? Here it is.
I was wrong.
There we go.
So I'm glad we did it for that reason, but also because, yes, it is nice to breathe a little bit. We have incredible jobs. In part, we get paid to talk, right? We're talking for a living. Everybody should be so lucky. But I do work 7 days a week through the entire college basketball season. And it is nice to not do that, throughout the month of August, to be able to breathe a little bit. And obviously other people coming in and helping with the summer shoot around has made that more possible than it otherwise would be. So great idea. I say we do it again next year.
Sounds good. That's a show.
Let's get out of here. Shouts to Devin Downey. Shouts to Chester, South Carolina. Terry Teagle, he's a legend. Huck Larnell, thank you guys once again for watching, listening to the Eye on College Basketball podcast. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcasts, Apple, Spotify. There's more of us than there are of them. That should be reflected in the comments. So do that. We'll talk to you again real soon. Till then, take care.